If you've just bought a compound bow off the internet or out of a shop, chances are it's not sighted in. Factories can't sight the bow in for you, you have to do it yourself once you purchase the bow. They don't know what your draw length's going to be, what weight arrows you're going to use, what poundage you're going to be using the bow on, so they can't sight it in from the factory. So that's what we're going to run through today. By the time we finish this video, you'll be able to sight in your bow and all of your pins to make sure that you're on target at all distances. So the general principle of sighting your bow, actually looking through the sights of the bow, is to look through your peep sight at full draw. You'll put your nose on the string here. You'll be able to see through this peep sight here, through that little hole, and you line up the circle of this little hole here with the circle of your sight, and then while both of those are lined up, then you put the relevant pin on the target. So your first pin might be 20 meters, then 30 meters, then 40 meters. If you're at 20 meters, for instance, you'll line up the circle of the hole here with the circle of the hole here, and then put your 20 meter pin, top pin, on the target. So have a look at this photo and it might make things look a little bit clearer for you. Alright, so now let's go out to the range and we'll get started on sighting in your bow. So we're out at the range and we're going to sight in our sights now. So we've already showed you how to sight your bow, or how to aim your bow looking through the peep sight and lining up the circle of the sight there. Now we're going to show you how to actually sight where the pins go, and how to move it to sight it in properly so you're on target at all different distances. Now before you start sighting in your bow, you need to move your closest pin that you're going to use. In this case it'll be 20 meters. You need to move it all the way to the top. That way you're going to get maximum distance out of your sighting as you can possibly get. To sight your bow in, you're going to need a set of Allen keys. You can go to your local hardware shop and buy a set of Allen keys, but if you do that, you're probably going to need to buy 2 sets, and you probably still won't have the ones that you need. You really need to go to an archery shop and buy a set of Allen keys that are meant specifically for archery. Okay, so when we're going to move your sight left and right or up and down, you've got this screw here is going to move it left and right, and this one in here is going to be moving it up and down. And then of course you can do your pins individually as well after you've got your first pin set. Now it doesn't matter what sight you have, you're still going to have those same sort of adjustments. This is the sight that I normally have on my bow, and so you can see here, that one there is going to move you left right, so that's that one up the top there to move left right, so that's that one move left right, and then this one here will undo, so you can move up and down, same as this one in here to move up and down. And then of course you've got your individual pins as well, same as what you have your pins on here to move it individually up and down. The only difference is this one's micro adjust, so it's very fine adjustments, and you just hear that, those clicks. That's like it's on a ratchet, so you can just turn very fine amounts. Much more expensive sight than this one, but this is the one we're sighting in today. To get started, what we want to do, so we're somewhere in the ballpark, we want to get this sight left and right adjustment somewhere around about correct. So to do that, you would look at it from the back of the bow, line up where your arrow goes through your arrow rest. So if your arrow rest is down, put your arrow rest up, or if you've got a whisker biscuit, you'll be going through the hole. So the arrow is going to go from your D-loop through the rest and then out the front here, and your pins need to be in line with where your arrow is going to go. So as you can see, this one is a little bit too far that way, so we're going to adjust that by undoing this Allen key up here, if you use the right size Allen key. So we'll undo this one here. Only have to undo it a turn, and then okay, and then you can see the pins now, they're inside in line with the string. So we can do that back up. Okay, so now we'll go over and we'll have a couple of shots and start getting it sighted in, and we'll show you what to do. So to do this first bit, we're going to just start up nice and close to make sure we're not going to miss the target. You're going to need 4 arrows. 1, 2, 3, 4. You can do it with 3 arrows as well, but it's really important that before you start this process that you can actually shoot a group. When I say a group, I mean at least like a group around about this round. If you don't shoot a group, you don't know whether your arrows are high, low, left or right, because they're all over the place. So we'll shoot a group now and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So as we said earlier, we'll draw it back, we'll anchor properly with our nose on the string, we'll line up the circle of the peep sight with the circle of the sight, and we're going to be putting the top pin at the shortest distance, the top pin on the target where we want it to hit, and then we'll shoot. So in this case we're going to be shooting at that hair, and it's we'll put the arrows right at the base of the ears there. So don't worry about too much where you hit, because we're not sighted in. This is what we do to get sighted in. So shoot the 4 arrows, don't make any adjustments of any sort, and keep aiming in the exact same spot you were aiming before. So let's go up there and have a look now. So as you can see, these arrows are all very high. We're aiming here, arrows are all here. So that tells us that we need to lift our pin up. That way we don't have to, if we lift our pin up, we're following the arrows, and that'll bring our arrows down. So we'll do that now. So remember, you're following the arrows, so the arrows are high, so we're going to be moving high. To move high, we use this Allen grub screw in here. So we'll undo it a little bit, and we'll move those up quite a bit, because we're a long way off. And when I say quite a bit, you've got graduations on the side here. I'll move it up 7 graduations. Okay, so let's go back to that same spot and we'll do that again. Okay, so we're back at the same spot. Hopefully you can see that hair there, the target. And we're going to aim at the same place, which is the base of those ears. And I can already tell you that that's still going to be high, so we're going to move it again. We'll see if we get 3 in there in the same spot. Okay, so that's all 3 of those are high. So we're going to move that rest high again. We'll go get the arrows. Okay, so we've managed to get all the arrows now are all on the rabbit, just close to the base of his ear there. So we've moved back to 20 meters. Now this is really the spot where, on a 70-pound bow, where you would really make your first pin. So the first, when we went to 10 meters, that's just to get it in around about the right spot. If you're shooting a lower poundage bow of say 40 pounds, 30 pounds, then you would probably want to stay there at the 10 meters and use your first pin at 10, sight that in properly at 10, and then go 20, 25, 30. Having a 70-pound bow, you would usually set your first pin for 20 meters, then 30 meters, then 40, then 50. So I'm going to set this first pin at 20 meters. We've already got it pretty close. This will make sure it's dead on. So as you can see here, we're aiming at the base of that ear at 20 meters. We're actually aiming right here. We're slightly to the left and slightly low at 20 meters. So we're going to move our sight block slightly left and slightly low, and that'll bring that into line. Okay, so we've moved it slightly left and slightly low. Let's give it another go. It's pretty windy out here today, and I've got no stabilizer at all, you might have noticed. If you're using a good heavy stabilizer or a long stabilizer, and there was no wind obviously, then you'd shoot a bit better groups, but for the video purposes this will work. Okay, so as you can see, that's come up much better. This is where we're aiming. I did have a bit of one a little bit out, but that's all right, we're all good. That's fine at 20, so now we'll go back and show you how to do 30. Okay, so to do your 30 meter pin we're going to set as the second pin. So that's going to be that one there. Now, I can tell that's going to be way too far apart, so we're just going to move it a bit closer. So in that case, we're just going to just the pin by itself, undo him and just slide him up a bit. Okay, so that distance there to the second pin, I think that's going to be around about right. We'll see how we go. Now, what we'll be doing now is we're not going to be moving this part and this part up and down and left and right, because we've already got those right with the 20-meter pin. All we're going to do now is be moving the actual pin itself up and down, because we've already got this one right. If we were to move these, then that pin wouldn't be right, the top pin wouldn't be right anymore. So now we're doing just your second pin to do your 30 meters. And then when we do your 40 meters, it'll just be the 40-meter pin that we're moving, not the whole sight block. We may have to, the further you get back, the more it's going to exaggerate your errors in your sight. So we may have to very, very slightly move left and right, but we won't have to move the block up and down anymore. So let's do 30 meters shots. Again, we'll do 3 or 4 shots. 3's enough, 4 gives you a better idea on the group. And again, we'll be aiming at the base of our rabbit's ears again. Okay, so all those shots are actually low. So I've moved that pin, that second pin, I've dropped it down a little bit to follow the arrows. That's our last lot after we've moved the pins for the 30 meters. You can see all those. We are still a fraction high, but I'm pretty much okay with that for the purposes of this video. You can see it doesn't take too long to get that done. That's 20 and 30 meter pins. Now you would go back and you'd repeat that at 40 meters as well, and get your 40 in. Then if you got a 50 and a 60, so you'd get it sighted out to 60 meters. So that's our video today on sighting in your bow. I hope that's been of some use to you. We went through lining up your peep sight circle with your sight aperture circle and how to line up the pins. I hope that's been of use to you. Hope you're on target, and if you liked this video and it was helpful, hit the like and subscribe buttons. That's what helps us to continue making videos, and we'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.